age 6, setting, playground, here is a girl and here is a boy. The boy was always calling the girl names and stealing her toys. Age 12, setting, behind Mr. Thompson's classroom, here's a girl and here's a boy. After years of stealing the girl's toys, the boy finally pulled the girl behind the building and stole her first kiss. Age 19, setting, college dorm room, here is a woman and here's a man. Along with her virginity, he also stole her dignity, sense of safety, and the hope of a normal, happy college experience. Over the years, the act of being sexual, a source of life and production, has been twisted and manipulated into including a power-hungry action of oppression and violence. How is it that our modern culture allows the all-too-common escalation of the theft of toys, to kisses, to virginity? Society's perception of sex has shifted from this sacred act of intimacy to one of individual power. As a result, rape is now pervasive and normalized due to societal attitudes about gender and sexuality. Today, we will first explore the problems of rape culture, then delve into some of its underlying causes before finally offering some solutions. The problem is that in today's culture, rape is everywhere. Age 17, setting Ojibwe Reservation, here is one young girl and here are 4 men in a jeep. These men are not Native American, they're white. They wear bandanas over their faces like bandits, and their pockets are loaded with condoms, the modern ammunition used in a sick game of cowboys and Indians. They spy their target, they grab her, drive her up to the most isolated part of the reservation, making sure to stay well within its boundaries, and they rape her, and they rape her, and they rape her. According to the Washington Post, this is what 1 in 3 women who live on any Native American reservation will experience. 3 in 5 will be subject to domestic violence, and those who perpetrate these crimes have all gone unpunished if they are white. This is because of a 1978 court ruling known as the Oliphant ruling, which declared that whites cannot be tried in Native courts. Age 15. Setting, St. Paul's College Prep School, New Hampshire. Here is a freshman girl, and here's a senior boy. Well-liked and extremely successful, he has already been admitted to Harvard University. One night he emails the girl, "I want to invite you to come with me to climb the hidden steps." Many are aware of the atrocities that occur on college campuses, but few realize that rape is also prevalent in high school. The St. Paul's case brings to light how some very old, traditional prep schools contain some very dark traditions. A 15-year-old girl pressed charges against senior Owen Labrie for raping her as part of a tradition known as the Senior Salute, in which female underclassmen were encouraged and even expected to perform sexual acts for the pleasure of their male upperclassmen. Seamus Khan, Associate Professor of Sociology at Columbia University and St. Paul's alumnus, writes, "Rituals are used there mainly to impose hierarchy, with some of them organized by students having taken on a pointedly sexual turn. There's the annual dance, called Screw, when the sexual desirability of a girl is determined by her value on the screw marketplace." He also described noob nights in which new female students were forced to divulge their sexual pasts. There was this common denominator of sex and sexuality as the pathway to welcoming and belonging for young girls. Age, undocumented. Setting, Guatemala border with Mexico. Here is one young girl and here are 10 armed men. Anna was fleeing the violence of her home in Guatemala and headed for a train in Mexico that would take her to America. On the way, she was captured by these 10 men and taken to a nearby ranch. Kept in a room where she could hear the screams and cries of others, she was told that she would be repeatedly raped by every single member until she provided the phone number of a relative to pay her ransom. The fate of immigrant women fleeing violence is only to find further violence and degradation. Those that actually reach the train across Mexico find themselves in the worst amount of danger. Ominously named La Bestia for the atrocities committed by gang members, drug cartels, and even state officials, the train will stop to allow gang members to round up women for trafficking. Amnesty International reports that 6 in 10 women and girls will be raped on their journeys to try to reach America. Native American women living on reservations, young girls on elite high school campuses, and even women coming to America for better lives cannot escape the scourge of rape. What could possibly cause such widespread divergent cases of rape to occur with such frequency? The cause of this problem is that the very creation of our entire civilization is a story of rape, not only of the land, but also of the people. Livy, the 1st century BC author of a distinguished recording of the history of Rome, describes a mass intercity rape of the Sabine women by the Roman men in order to create their population. The rape of the Sabines biologically conceives the Roman people, but Livy implies that the city's utter greatness sanctifies any wrongness in doing so. In a very disturbing way, rape is at the core of the civilizing process itself, where we not only imagine the creation of a population through the subjection of women, but we also consider the conquest of land and territory itself as a rape. Columbia University professor Anne McClintock suggests that because it is out of man's power to give birth and in turn to create, he must therefore compensate by assuming the role of authority within the domestic sphere as well as in all of civilization. Through the white male adventurer's gaze, the empty lands of Africa and Asia and South America are all transformed into female bodies to be mastered, managed, and fertilized so as to produce wealth for an industrial economy. Rape is so prevalent in our history that it has become culturally invisible. While we react viscerally to any single instances, the whole of rape culture blinds us to the larger underlying pattern. Having seen the problem and its causes, what are some possible solutions? In June 2015, Barack Obama signed into law legislation punishing domestic partners and spouses guilty of rape on Native American reservations. While the original bill covered all offenders, it was later reduced to this small group. This dilution of the law shows society's blindness to rape culture. Thus, legislation has not been able to address the root causes of the problem. Only through personal action can we stop it. First, we need to name the real problem. We cannot allow the media to continue to blame the victim. When they do, we should instead pivot to ask what messages the perpetrators received in order to think that their actions were acceptable. We need to shift the focus to where it truly belongs. Second, we need to educate about what consent actually is. Too many people are engaging in sexual activity without waiting for positive consent. According to a study cited in Jezebel on November 13, 2009, men will admit to rape, as long as it's not labeled rape. 1,882 college students were asked questions including, have you ever had sexual intercourse with someone who did not want you to because they were too intoxicated to resist? Disturbingly, 120 or 6% of those surveyed admitted to actions that constitute rape. Unless a woman has given her positive verbal consent, any sexual activity must be considered sexual assault. Finally, victims need to feel comfortable enough stepping forward and telling their stories. I am a victim of sexual assault. And it wasn't until I was face to face with an attacker that it occurred to me how terrifyingly pervasive it is within our society. By standing up and telling our stories, together we can force rape culture out of the darkness and bring it into the light. Only then can we remove this stigma that it has branded upon us. Today, we've talked about the problem of rape culture, its causes, and seen some solutions. Alarmingly, considering how many people are sitting in this room, there's a very good chance that someone else has also been victimized, and a very good chance that someone else will be. It may be uncomfortable to face this problem, but only through acknowledging the existence of rape culture can we hope to stop it before someone else becomes the victim.